Hello, it is Jolene here from the Best Vinyl Cutters, and I've got a really cool tutorial for you guys today. But before we get into it, hit that subscribe button on the bottom so that you can see all of our future videos and tutorials as well. So guys, I'm stoked to be here. I have got my trusty Cricut maker ready to go, and what we're going to do today is to whip up a really cool little camping mug. I've got the thing on selfie, so you guys probably are seeing this in mirror image. Sorry about that. But I'm making a cup for my daughter. She's in cadets. So they go on like camps and do like survival skills and all those sorts of fun things. So I put her name on one side. Let's test your knowledge and see if you can read mirror image. Her name is Katie. And on the other side, I found a really cool but tricky to work with SVG that says Camp Life. So you guys will see this in the right way around in the video at the end. I've got a camping mug, and it's a really beautiful one. I really love it. It's got like the silver detail at the top. And I only really do decals with adhesive vinyl when I'm making camping mugs. And the reason for that is because I'm a dishwasher. I do not like to hand wash. And of course, when you're camping, you hand wash all the time because there are no dishwashers there. So your adhesive vinyl copes a lot better with hand washing than it does with a dishwasher. It does fairly well with a dishwasher. It does better than HTV. There's a bit of a thing going around that HTV is better to use on mugs, and I don't agree. So it does okay in the dishwasher if you use the right vinyl, but it's not going to last forever because you are applying heat and that adhesive will wear off. So when I make camping mugs, I love doing adhesive vinyl on it. However, when I'm doing proper mugs, I usually go with sublimation or infusible ink or anything like that. That's a bit more permanent and that can handle the dishwasher a bit better. So what do you need for today if you want to follow along? You obviously need your blank, so a beautiful camping mug blank, and you guys will find links for all sorts of things in the description below if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, hop over to YouTube to find some more information. And then we also need some tools. So you need your cutter, of course. We need our green cutting mat for the vinyl. And then we need some vinyl. Now, I am using Oracle 651, guys. Oracle 651 is a premium vinyl, and it's got a really good adhesive on it. It really does well with wear and tear. So I would recommend not using Cricut and all of these no-brand stuff we can buy from Amazon for this project. We want to get something really decent that's going to handle water and soap. So I love Oracle 651 for this. By all means, try whatever you want, but that's my recommendation. I've just got a black glossy one that I'm going to be using today. On top of that, it's an adhesive vinyl project, which means we need transfer tape. So transfer tape, you can use all sorts of different things. You can use contact paper, blue painter's tape, all sorts of different things. But because I am using Oracle 651, I've bought their recommended transfer tape, and it works so easy. This is like no joke, one of the easiest things I can transfer. So this is Aura tape is what it's called, and it's an application tape. So do grab some, because if you find that the contact tape might not work with the Oracle as well, it will be good to have an alternative on hand. But obviously this is more expensive, so I'll leave it up to you, but to me it's worth it. Then we need some tools. I like to use a brayer to pop my vinyl down onto my mat, especially with this type of a vinyl, because it picks up my fingerprints quite easily. So to try and avoid getting my oil of my ink and of my hands all over it and stuff like that, using a brayer is just really helpful. Then of course we need a scraper for transfer. I adore the extra large scraper. I barely ever use the teeny tiny little one that comes in the basic tools pack. If you haven't bought this yet, you will not regret it. Honestly, it makes life a lot easier. Of course, you need a weeder. So whatever weeder works for you, go with that. There's a lot of different brands out there. There's cheap versions, there's expensive versions. I'm just using the Cricut one this time around. And then I've also got my stylus on hand. And the reason why I've got my stylus is because my design has got teeny tiny fine little lines. And that way I can use my stylus and really go down those fine lines and make sure they're done properly, where my big one might miss out on them. So I use this for the majority of it, but when I have fine detail, I love to use this, especially on curved surfaces. And I think you need scissors, and that's pretty much it, guys. So it's a really fun tutorial. It's a really easy tutorial. Even if you're a beginner, you're gonna be able to follow along. If you're a beginner, make sure you choose an easy SVG file, because the one I chose wasn't the easiest to work with. So I'll give you some more tips as the video goes along, but let's hop into Cricut Design Space so that I can show you guys my design and we can get onto it. Okay guys, so I found a really cool SVG that's perfect for a camping mug. So of course you will need to go and upload your image. Now I've already had mine uploaded, so let me just quickly find it. There it is. So this is, as I said, just one that I purchased. I like to purchase things when I can. It makes life a lot easier. But the one thing that I did realize when I was sharing pictures of this mug is a lot of people were asking me how to make these stars in letters. And I thought I would just very quickly show you how to do that, just because I had so many people inquiring about it. So let's say you would obviously type up your whole word, but let me just do the one letters for the sake of getting it done quickly. So the best would be to find a font that is nice and thick, okay? So that's not bad. So you would find a font that you really, really like. And I find, even though we're going to resize this to being smaller, it's just easy to work with it when it is nice and big. Now I will just go and find some stars. Now you could go to images and use the star here, or you could go to images and just search for a star. Oh, where am I? Let me just clear my filters. There we go. And you can find different sorts of stars as well. So if it's Christmassy, you might want to go with a more Christmas looking star or whatever you wish. So I'll grab this one, and I'll also do a normal star as well. So you just simply insert your star and you resize it so that it sits on top of your letter. Make it nice and small. I find that it's quite nice having sometimes things hanging off your, I wonder if this one's going to be thick enough. Anyway, I guess we shall find out in a minute. Sometimes it's nice to have it like hanging off the edge just a little bit. So of course you can go and let's pop in some hearts or something different. You can go and pop in whatever shapes you want. So see how they've got trees in theirs, and they've got a fire and all sorts of different things. So I'm not too worried about the design. If you're looking at what I'm doing and you're like, ew, like I just want to show you how this works. So you can basically pop all of your shapes onto your letter. And what we can do then is to basically slice the shapes out of the letter, but we have to do it one by one. So we'll select the letter and your heart. So I did it by clicking on my M and clicking on my heart, but you can do the same thing in the side, and then your slice function will pop up. So you literally just click on it, and now it's basically it's like slicing a loaf of bread. That's how I like to explain it to my students, is you slice a slice of bread by taking one slice away. So when we slice a heart into a shape, we're taking that shape away. So you leave the empty space, right? Oops, what did I just move it wrong. So it's really a step-by-step process of selecting your bits and your pieces and then slicing away. I might actually not do all of them, because if you know how to do this, I might lose your interest in the actual making of the cup. But let me just do a few of them, and I'm sure you get the idea, right? So now have a look. If I take my M away, I have sliced these bits and these pieces out. And that's how you make your own letters with stars coming out of them. So it's the same thing, okay? But you would obviously finish the step and make it look beautiful and pretty. Okay, so that being said, let me delete that. So what I want is this camp life on the one side of my mug. The one thing that I realized is you do not want to make your decal as big as your mug, because then you'll struggle with the curves and actually applying it. So I like to make mine big enough, but I don't take it all the way from the bottom of the cup to the top of the cup. So just think about it, that the cup usually curves at the bottom inwards. So it's a different size there in comparison to in the middle. So we want to avoid those areas. So for my cup, I've decided just to go with 1.75 inches as the height. For me, it was more about the height that I was worried about than about the width. So I don't care that the width is a weird number, because I wanted to make sure that it is high enough, but not going all the way to the top or the bottom where it curves in and out. And then on the other side of my cup, because this is for my daughter who goes to cadets, I want to put her name so that when they're washing their cups, she'll know which cup is hers really, really easily. Okay, so I've got the word Katie here, and I'm just going to go and pick my font. So you obviously have all of your fonts, or your system fonts, or your Cricut fonts. Your system fonts are all what are in your computer or on your phone or whatever you're on, and they're obviously all going to be free. So if you don't have Cricut Access, this is probably going to be your best friend. I do have Cricut Access, so I'm going to go to all, and I'm going to find one of my favorite ones. Actually, it's just here. I like this A Frightful Affair, which you get with your Cricut Access. So click on that one. Now, keep in mind that a thick font is a lot easier to transfer than a thin font. A thin font does not have a lot of surface area, so it doesn't have a lot of area for that stickiness to stick to. So it is going to be more frustrating. It's perfectly doable, but it is a lot more frustrating to transfer in comparison to this nice big bold fonts. And I'm going to resize this one. I want it to be slightly smaller than this, because this is obviously my feature of my cup. This is just for easy identification. So I'm going to go with 1.25. Now at this point, what you need to do is to basically make sure that these two together, which is basically 6 inches, right? Just make sure that obviously it can fit on the cup. So I like to grab a piece of string and just take it around my cup, measure out how big of an area I have, and then put that string on a ruler so that you can make sure that your bits will fit onto it. So I've got plenty of space on mine still left over, and this is going to be perfect for me. And that, guys, is pretty much what I did with my preparation in Cricut Design Space. So from here, all you do is you click on Make It. And oops, look at that, I didn't attach mine. So when your letters all jumble up like this, see that happening? You need to go back and you need to make sure, I think because I thought it was an actual bought SVG, that it was going to be one design, but it's obviously not. So what we need to do is to grab all of those together, and you go to the bottom and we click on attach so that we can keep them in that same position. I'm really struggling with my words today. All right, so now that we have that attached, and this is one image at the moment, we're going to go on Make It, and there we go, that's much better. So we've got our camp life in the right order. I'm just going to move this away slightly so that it's easier to work with. And we've got our Katie. And now what you need to do is just to select your machine, and obviously select adhesive vinyl, And then we are going to grab our green cutting mat and we are going to start cutting away. So let's get to the fun stuff. All right, so now it's just time to cut. So adhesive vinyl on the green mat, take off your plastic. And what we need to do is to cut our vinyl to size. So you can see I use my vinyl a fair bit. It's got chunks cut out already. And all I need is a piece that is about 3 inches by, well, 3 inches by 8 inches. Sorry, I had to go and have a look at the laptop. I was like, I don't remember. Okay. Which is going to be about my strip anyways. There we go. So adhesive vinyl goes shiny side up and it goes in the top left hand corner, and you can either use your hand or a brayer to make sure that it's stuck down properly. You load it up, you press the C button, and away we're going to go. Okay, I'm grabbing some transfer tape, I'm grabbing my weeding tools, some scissors, guys. And of course you also need a scraper or even your stylus to adhere it. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we've done. I'm not too sure if this is going to be salvageable because it actually has kind of really done a crappy job at cutting the stars. The stars were a little bit too small for the design. Can you guys see that? Whoops. Anyway, let's do Katie, and then I'll see how I go with the other one. When we weed, guys, you pull in off excess that you don't need. I've got a really easy font here, and I've got a really easy name to work with. So my weeding is as simple as that. I'm done. Now let's see how we go with the other one though. And let's get rid of all of that excess. Camp life. Now all we need to do is to pick out these inside bits, but they are really teeny tiny. So let's see how I go. Talking about transfer tape, I hope you guys know that there are different ways to do transfer tape. You've got to find what really works for you. Some people prefer to save money and they buy contact paper, but you've also got to be careful with the contact paper because depending on what brand vinyl you use, it can leave a little bit of a sticky layer on top of your letters, which obviously you can fix, but in my opinion that's a bit annoying. Or you can use blue painter's tape instead. Then of course you do have proper transfer that you can use as well. I do like using proper transfer tape myself, and because I'm using Oracle brand vinyl, I do like to use their actual brand of transfer tape. So now it's time to get to actually transferring it on. And to do that, you grab your transfer tape, and we really just want to cut a piece that's a bit bigger than your actual vinyl. So we don't want to waste too much, yeah? And I might do this one that way. I like to have my transfer tape bigger than my actual design because it makes life easier. And all you need to do is to simply peel off your plastic from your backing, and you place it on top. And then you need to use something, a ruler. You can even use like, what do you call it, a rolling pin from the kitchen, although that's a bit more. Oh guys, I just did a whole entire video to show you how to get the decal like lift it off your transfer tape, but my video decided to stop recording. So this is where we were at, right? We were picking up our vinyl from the backing with our transfer tape. Okay, that's where we were at, but we had the word there. So what you do is you peel your transfer tape from the front and see how it just lifts it up. So once we have that, your transfer tape is now going to be sticky, and that sticky is what's going to stick to your cup. And we need to make sure that it's a permanent vinyl so that it can stick properly to the cup. So then you would go and place your vinyl over your word, right? Which is what I have here. And now that you have your vinyl adhered, right, we're going to grab your scraper and scrape all over again. If you have really fiddly bits, again, if you were working with a tiny thin font, I would recommend using the stylus to make sure it's done properly because it's a curved surface. My transfer tape works like wonders with this vinyl. Like honestly, you buy a brand that's made for the brand and it just works. So after you do that, you literally just peel it off like so. How cool is that? Okay, and then of course we have to do the other side, which again, I already did in the other video, right? So I did follow the same steps. I placed my vinyl, my transfer tape onto the vinyl, I scraped it off, I lifted it up and I adhered it to the cup, and I've scraped it onto the cup. I have some really fine lines in here, and for those fine lines, I grab my stylus and I make sure that I get them adhered down properly, because they're gonna rip if I don't get them down properly. Overall, I think I'm gonna have problems with that thin line, and I wish the designer would do it properly and make thicker lines, but it is what it is. And then you can peel away your vinyl, your transfer tape, sorry. So how cool is this little cup? That's pretty funky, isn't it? I think that's perfect for a teenage daughter, and I think she's going to really enjoy that. And that's just practical for her, so that when she's drinking her cup, people are going to see the other side because she's right-handed. So they'll be able to see the beautiful decal. As I mentioned, I only do adhesive vinyl decals on camping mugs because I hand wash them. We don't have a dishwasher when we camp. So I know that this vinyl is going to last quite a while. I wouldn't soak my cup, but generally you don't really need to. But if you want to decorate, pop some decals on a normal cup, what I would recommend is to use infusible ink and to bake it in the oven. And I have a tutorial in mind. It's not up yet, but it's coming soon, where I will show you exactly how to do that, because that way you're creating a mug that is dishwasher safe. So if you're a dishwasher fan like me, that's how you would like to do those cups. But if you hand wash a lot, you can pop these onto normal cups for sure. It will still last quite a long while. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial and you enjoy your new little camping mug. I just hope we get a chance to go and camp soon now, so that we can try it out. Make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. And we've got some fabulous tutorials coming your way that we're busy editing. So we will see you in the next one. All right, see you later. Bye.